Is there any kind of common issues that you would see there, or any kind of recommendations you'd have for someone looking at or an owner of a convection microwave?
The biggest complaint that I see in the field with convection microwave isn't so much that they break, because the convection part of the microwave is essentially like an air fryer, essentially, because you have a heating element and a fan and kind of a small space. It does get really hot, upwards of 350 you can set the temperature at. But the biggest complaint I get is the smell, because you're cooking in there, there's a lot more happening, and a lot of those smells can linger a lot longer. So, just what we touched on earlier about different ways to deodorize and clean your microwave. If you use a convection feature a lot, you really want to stay vigilant with that, because if you cook enough in there, it's going to be really hard to get the smell of whatever you're cooking in there out if you don't stay on that pretty good.
Yeah, and I can imagine it must be the equivalent of trying to clean a really old greasy oven, except the oven's really small, so it's such an awkward, angle to try and get in there and
Oh
everything.
yeah.
So yeah, just was it the putting, a small glass of vinegar and stuff, sort of similar to the dishwashers and that? Would you recommend that kind of thing to break up any buildup? Or how would you sort of recommend to keep up with the microwaves again?
Yeah, yeah. So, just putting a bowl of, water and vinegar and heating it, letting it boil, getting a lot of that moisture inside, and they make different types of things you can buy that you actually fill up with stuff. And so as it gets hot, it shoots steam out. And so, yeah, there's a lot of different things out there for cleaning the microwave.
Really good to know.
So another thing with the convection is you definitely want to read your owner's manual on the convection cooking before you start messing with it, because just like the ovens, they have kind of an automatic like convection convert temperature ability, essentially. So if the recipe calls to cook at 350 in a regular oven, it's going to be different in convection cooking. And so you want to see if your microwave does that automatically, or if you have to put in the convection temperature, not the traditional cooking temperature. The other thing that you want to find out too is some microwaves do have the option to cook as a combination with the microwave and the convection at the same time. You want to find out if your microwave does that automatically, because that'll limit what you can put in there to cook. Depending on what type of cookware you're using. If you're doing just solely convection, you have more options than if it's going to activate the microwave portion at the same time. So just for safety and for best results in cooking, definitely take the time and read the section on convection before you use it. The other thing too with convection, it is really convenient to have your microwave and your convection slash air fryer all in the same unit. It really does make the price jump up. I would say kind of a baseline in general, expect to pay twice as much for an oven with or a microwave with a convection feature. Something else you may want to consider too is just to have a regular microwave and then to have a separate convection, whether it's like an air fryer or something like that. Because I know a lot of times there's a lot more features and options and styles if you just go for a totally separate convection type air fryer. And sometimes you could save a lot of money too. So that's something to consider and look at your options.
Yeah, definitely worth considering. And as you were saying earlier, it's, you're not going to have a problem getting someone repairing a normal microwave, but when you have a convection one, might start to get tricky.
Oh yeah.
Or easier and cheaper to replace one at a time as well if something goes wrong.